Hey there guys, this is Sam
and Justin
at the Survival Review, and today we are going to be moving into the 1970s Italian horror genre with the classic film Deep Red. Like, what a movie this is.
Yeah.
This was part of, I think, like the peak of Dario Argento.
Yeah.
Some of his best movies are coming out in the late 70s, early 80s. This is one of my personal favorites of his. This is like the quintessential giallo movie, this and like Suspiria and movies like that. So that whole genre, if you're going to watch anything, watch this.
Yeah. Like this and Suspiria,
Yes.
but Suspiria is more like a visual kind of dreamlike experience, whereas this one is more of like a movie.
Yes, it has a story.
Yeah.
not necessarily the most complex.
No.
It's your typical sort of whodunit sort of slasher thing, but very stylized, very stylish, just super nice looking movie.
Yeah.
Argento knew how to make a movie really engaging through visuals.
Oh yeah. So the plot of this movie...
Yeah, the plot is, it's a murder mystery.
Yeah.
It follows this pianist who witnesses a murder of the psychic woman in his apartment building. He's outside talking to a guy and she gets killed. And that sort of sparks him to get involved in sort of trying to investigate this, even though he's not a cop, he's a pianist. He's a pianist. But he wants to get involved in investigating this murder and who's doing it. You've got this unique sort of murderer who like does things with like children's music playing.
Yeah, there's always this one children's song that's just playing during the murders.
It has like a fixation on like little toys and things like that, which is one of the neat little things that makes this movie so memorable. Is it has like a personality to the killer. It's not just like, it's a faceless killer, but you sort of get these little details that sort of give them
I really see of the killer is just the jacket and like the black gloves that they wear.
For the most part, all of the murder sequences are from a point of view perspective.
Yeah.
Which is really cool, and like this movie clearly influenced a lot of other horror movies to come.
Yeah, I've noticed a lot of stuff in this movie that like I can see in Halloween.
Yeah, or even Friday the 13th and stuff like that.
Of course, like the point of view killer. Yes. You have like this one connection that might just be me over speculating because I've seen Halloween too many times, so that's what I thought of. But there's a scene where this lady is being like stalked in the house basically, and she kind of leans down by like a chair and she picks up like a sewing needle. That just reminded me of Jamie Lee Curtis at the end of Halloween.
It could be pushing it, but you know, it's just a few years before, so... Yeah.
And then right after that, her death scene they used that exact same death scene in Halloween 2.
Yes.
So
I would say there's definitely some influence there. So this movie had its impact, and for good reason.
One of the things I like about the movie is the main character, who like he gets more involved as it goes on. But at first he just seems really like reluctantly, just like I'm going to check this out.
Yeah, he's just like I'm just going to look into it. There's this other woman who's also an reporter. She's very like strong, independent woman.
Yeah,
and he's kind of sexist.
He just doesn't really care that much.
Yeah, he's just kind of this sort of not schlubby dude, but just like
this average Joe.
Yeah, you know.
Like every other character in the movie has like a little like weird quirk to them, which kind of happens in a lot of these like Argento movies. Like every character just seems kind of off and not as like normal. Yeah. But it just makes them more interesting. Like you have his best friend Carlo, who's always drunk and is like just not happy with life. You have his mother, who's just this weird like former actress.
Yeah. Who really wants him to be an engineer for some reason. Yeah. She keeps calling him the engineer pianist, even though he keeps saying like, where the hell did you get this? Just weird sort of character.
Or even just like the psychic character at the beginning, where you see her, she's at this like big like conference, like showing off her ability and stuff.
Yeah, there's really no reason for her to be a psychic.
No.
But it makes for a really interesting opening where she's sort of hearing the thoughts of the killer in the audience, and it makes for a cool open to the movie.
And one of the things that you're always going to mention in a Dario Argento movie is the score.
Oh, of course. Every time there's a Goblin score, which they pretty much scored every one of his movies, it's fantastic. And the theme to this song, which plays throughout the movie, is one of the best. I don't know if I could call it iconic, because I think, again, it kind of gets overshadowed by like Suspiria and some of the others, but it's really, really great and suits the tone of the movie fantastically.
I mean, I will say there are a few kind of weird moments in it, like where it kind of because there's like kind of two themes. There's kind of like the more kind of orchestral, not really orchestral, but more kind of like dramatic stuff.
Yes.
And then there's kind of just like the electric guitar stuff.
Yeah, that's where I will say sometimes it doesn't fit so much. There's one sequence in particular where he's falling off of the side of the house.
I was about to say that. Yeah.
Yeah. I forget what it was about the tone of the music, but it really clashed.
It's like this heavy, like electric guitar, almost like action scene music, but it's a scene of him possibly falling to his death, you know?
Yeah. So it didn't really fit.
No.
Some things like that. The music is good, just not always used perfectly.
No, yeah. Not as much as it would be later on in, like, say, Suspiria, where it's like used like pitch perfectly. Yeah. I mean, it's still great. It's still an amazing score. And I think the score helps so much because the movie is a little slow at times, but there's scenes where, like, there are a lot of action is happening. Like, there's a lot, like, building towards stuff. There's a scene where he's in this old abandoned house, and he starts, like, ripping at the wall to reveal this, like, picture underneath. There's a couple moments where I'm like, okay, it's a little slow. But during that scene, I was, like, glued to my seat. I was like, what's he gonna reveal? I was like, okay. And the music really helped with that.
Absolutely. And kind of that scene brings me to think about, like, the set design in this movie is so great.
Yeah.
Like, that whole scene, just, it looks like it's old wallpaper, paint over it, and it looks like it's been there forever. When he's, like, knocking doors and walls down in a house.
Yeah, that was another scene where he's just, like, knocking the one, like, wall down, and I'm just like, what is he gonna find?
Yeah. And everything is just so gorgeous in this movie.
Yeah.
So many clever camera shots and slick movements that, like I said earlier, it really keeps you invested in the movie just through visuals.
Yeah, and there's a lot of great sequences. A lot of stuff that, like, you don't really see coming, because a lot of the death scenes in this movie are not your typical horror movie death scenes.
They're really bizarre.
They're so unpredictable. You have no idea how it's really going to turn out.
Yeah.
Like the one scene we were mentioning with the lady in the house, that just keeps building and building, and it's like, how is she going to die? And there's so much weird stuff that happens in there. Like, she picks up, like, the needle, waiting, and, like, earlier she knocked over a bird cage, and all of a sudden she hears a noise, she brings, like, the needle up and she stabs her bird.
Yeah. Like, for some reason that's in there, but it's cool.
Yeah.
Because it keeps you on your toes the entire time.
Yeah, definitely. And then there's this one scene where it's, like, the, like, partner with the psychic is in his office.
This is like one of the visuals for the movie that, like, sticks out the most.
Yeah.
You're waiting in the office and you're looking at this door.
Yeah, the door's open, and you're like, the killer's gonna pop out there, or just gonna sneak up behind him or something.
Yeah, or something. But a door to the right of him opens up, and a doll runs out. And it's the creepiest looking thing I've ever seen in my life. It's super bizarre and totally out of nowhere and unexpected. And that's another thing where I would say that sort of visual probably inspired the Saw movies a little bit. With the little visual, the doll.
Yeah, I see that.
I could see that.
And then there's a cool shot in there where the killer breaks in. Well, first off, he's bashing the dude's, like, face into the corner of, like, the tables.
And you're, like, seeing his teeth hit these corners of this thing. It's just like, it's really, really sort of brutal. Same sort of thing as, like, other movies from this point where the blood is very, like, bright, vibrant red.
Yeah, it's not like Dawn of the Dead, like, bright, vibrant red, so it's not really that realistic.
Yeah.
But it's still, like, it's because you're not expecting something like that to happen. They're still just like, oh, geez.
Yeah, it's still, you feel it.
Yeah, and I love the shot where the killer finally stabs him and the knife comes down and the camera is, like, locked on the knife as it comes down.
Yeah.
I thought that was a really cool shot.
Yeah. Well, that whole scene with his death has so many cool shots in it.
Yeah, it really does. But there are some issues with the movie.
Yes.
And that, like I kind of mentioned, it is a little slow at times. Pacing is a little slow in some moments. And I do feel there's some scenes of, like, kind of filler in here.
Here and there, for sure.
The big one being the arm wrestling scene.
I mentioned the whole, like, he's a little sexist. Really, that's only in that one scene where that's like, brought up.
She's just like, I'm a strong, powerful woman.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, really? He's like, I'll prove it. Let's do an arm wrestle.
Yeah, and for whatever reason that's there. It doesn't take away from the movie that much, just because it is pretty brief, but it definitely does feel like kind of, why is this here?
Yeah. And even then, there's some stuff with those two characters that isn't really quite developed. Like, you see them, they have, like, an argument, and they, like, storm off, and then they're not seen together for a while. Then the next scene, they're, like, on the phone together, and they're acting like partners, and you're like, oh, okay. It's like there's something going on between them two, and you don't really get, like, a good, like, view on like what's actually going on with those two characters.
Yeah, there's a point later in the film where he gets rescued by her from this burning house. When he wakes up and she's there, I'm like, where did she come from? How did she find out? She's like, oh, I saw the note you left. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, at first I'm like, is that going to be a plot twist? Like, is she the killer?
That's what I was thinking at that particular moment. But no, it was really just kind of like,
I found you.
Yeah. So I guess, some of their stuff wasn't developed as well as it could have been. Any of the issues in this movie are small enough to where the rest of the movie way overshadows it.
Yeah.
Like, the positives definitely outweigh the negatives in this movie.
Yeah.
There's one death in particular that's like really sort of jarring and like kind of funny because it's kind of spoiler if we show any of the footage, but this one character, and it's just a complete accident. It's not like a murder or anything. He's running away from somebody, and he gets caught on the hook. This hook for some reason there's a hook hanging from the end of a truck.
Yeah.
And these two guys are driving and they're like, oh, just talking, and he gets caught his leg in the hook and is dragged for like hundreds and hundreds of feet. It's like head is rammed against a curb, and then they like, oh shit, there's a guy behind us, so they stop in the middle of an intersection and another car just runs over him like it's the Toxic Avenger. And it's the craziest thing I've ever seen.
I was just there just like, what is happening?
Yeah, the whole time I'm watching the scene I'm like, this is what? How did it escalate to this?
Yeah, and that adds to like the movie being unpredictable because like with the reveal to that character and everything, you're expecting some sort of big dramatic, like serious moment to happen, and then that's what happens.
Yeah. You're expecting somebody to give him his comeuppance, or whatever, and he gets it just by a complete fluke, by the most random sequence of events, which some might find unsatisfying, but as the movie goes on, some other stuff is revealed, and it's like. It really is just a bizarre way to wrap that little thing up with him.
It's so bizarre that like to me it is satisfying.
To me it is as well. Just a strange movie. And I think it's delightful.
Oh yeah, it is.
I think both of us give it a very high recommendation.
Yeah, it's not as iconic as like Suspiria. Like that's one of anyone says like you want to watch an Italian horror movie or a Dario Argento movie, they always say Suspiria. You know, but this one is definitely worth watching also.
For sure, a lot of them are. But I would say Deep Red is right up there with Suspiria in a lot of ways. And more people should fucking see it. If you haven't seen it, it's one of the quintessential Argento films.
Yeah, just know there are some slow bits here and there, and some kind of plot issues where things don't quite add up. It doesn't matter.
It really doesn't, because the movie is entertaining the whole way through.
Yeah, it's just great.
It really is.
Yeah.
So that's it for Deep Red. Yeah. Although we are not done completely talking about Argento. I think we've mentioned another one of his films about 1,000 times in this review.
Yeah.
So you can take a guess at what next time this review is going to be. So until then, we'll see you guys later.